Hello, hello! Welcome to the Fire Tuna Club. It's Kat. You're back for another doll repaint, and it's October, so it's gonna be spooky themed. I'm gonna open up October videos with our fantastic pyromaniac, Willow from Don't Starve. For those of you who don't know what Don't Starve is and you haven't played it, here's some in-game footage of the character that I am gonna be making. Don't Starve is a fantastic survival game with a Tim Burton-esque kind of feel. If you want more spacey stuff, you can also play Oxygen Not Included, made by the same developers. Or if you want to wet your pants and pray to God anytime a monster is thinking about eating you, play Subnautica. So with all the plugging of awesome video games out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with the standard steps to prepping a doll. You're going to want to cut off the hair, get it nice and short close to the head. Heat up the head with a blow dryer or a hot water bath to remove the head. Scrape out all the excess hair. And yeah, you can see this one did not go as planned for me. I was panicking for a little bit, but once I realized no harm was actually done other than putting the doll back together, I decided to cut open her head, took a couple of tries and got the neck peg out, and then continued on as normal. Once you have all the hair off, you'll want to remove the factory face-up with acetone. Don't forget to wash the face with soapy water later to make sure that there's no residual acetone. This next step is only for dolls that have gloves on them. The Disney Descendant dolls have very distinct gloved hands. So I was working on removing the paint and trying to cut off very carefully the chains and glove bits. If you accidentally almost cut off a finger, super glue will save the day. I got straight into pattern making after this, and I was in the middle of trying on a pattern for my mannequin doll when I realized she has no gloves on her hands. The hands I had corrected looked a bit like burn victim hands, so I swapped them out. Knowing that I wanted her shirt to be nice and loose, I simply traced around the doll to make my pattern, and then I modified it so that it was only one piece for the shirt and then the sleeves. Pin your patterns in place on a piece of fabric or trace around your patterns, whichever works for you. And go ahead and cut it out. You can see here that I sewed the darts together so that it was a bit more form-fitting to the body. Once you've completed the main part of the shirt, you're going to want to work on the sleeves. You'll want to hem the sleeves before you attach them, and when you attach them, you want to pin them very good so that they don't move on you while you're sewing either by hand or with machine. When that is done, you're going to want to pin down the sides and sew those too. Off camera, I made a collar and Fray checked it so it wouldn't unravel and attached it. You can see me using my tiny little flat iron here to iron it down so it wasn't popped up the entire time. I put it on the mannequin because I wanted to make sure that the shirt ended up right where I wanted it. And you guessed it, I don't actually have any recording of me working on the skirt. Sorry. Then I just finished up by hemming the bottom of the shirt and attaching Velcro on the back. I much prefer snaps, but for this knitted material, I really needed the Velcro because it wanted to stretch any chance it got. I just wish that I had Velcro in the appropriate color. So I'm changing it up again. The outfit is done, and I will be including parts of the face up, but to see the whole face up, from beginning to end, I will be uploading that into a separate video, just as a complete time lapse. So I had a big challenge when I was making Willow because I tend to lean more fantasy, heavy makeup, lots of pastels. In the game, Willow is very bare in her face. Like, I could have just got away with making her eyes and calling it done. However, I wanted to actually enjoy what I was doing, so I added a little bit. I gave her some dark eyeshadow so she can really embrace that whole I haven't slept in days and I'm starving and I'm tired and my sanity is dropping and something is gonna eat me. So I really highlighted the darkness and tried to give her some lines to look like she was definitely an insomniac. And I really couldn't give her proper eyes like you normally see in dolls, because that is one of those things that carries across the board in Don't Starve, is they have those white eyes. And I didn't really want it to be perfectly circular like the eyes in games, so I met in the middle of giving her round-ish eyes. I think I pulled it off. I did my best to capture the lack of sleep and the starvation by adding lines around her eyes, doing my best to make her look glassy-eyed and dead inside. I also added the eyebrows and the initial lines for the lips and started darkening the colors. I didn't want to go too dark with her lips, but I did want her to look dehydrated, I guess. It's a survival game. She's lucky she's still alive and hasn't been eaten by the dogs yet. At this point in the face-up, when I was about 3 or 4 layers in on my Testor's Dullcote, that I realized I wasn't mentally prepared to keep layering on pencil after pencil after pencil layer to get the opacity I wanted. So I cracked out the acrylics and I added a little bit of black and a whole lot of white. I'm hoping I accurately captured the whole I have lost my marbles and I'm gonna burn this forest down face up. Let's go ahead and get started on her hair. I'm gonna go ahead and mark the placement of the part of her hair and where I'm gonna stab her in the head. I glue the wig wefts directly onto her head, not because I failed to think ahead and actually put the head on first and then didn't want to take it off because of the neck peg, but because I planned it that way. Anyway, I get all the wefts put on, and then I go about styling her hair. If you're having trouble making a full enough ponytail or pigtail, you can take a pin, glue it onto your weft, roll that weft up so it's nice and thick, and then stab it into the head. Yay! I did this twice over for Willow's hair, so she had those full pigtails, and that they were also long enough so that I could curl them. Alright, with everything out of the way, let's get this girl dressed. What's this? There's no footage for those shoes, or that skirt, or those socks. Yeah, don't worry, I'll be doing more stuff like this in the future, and I will explain how I did it and give you better tutorials. If you watch to the end, you'll see why there's no footage. Hey, thanks for watching. If you've hit the end and you've seen plenty of YouTube videos before, you know the drill. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. If you want to keep up to date without missing any videos, press the little bell button.